What is good, y'all? Welcome back to Chris and Rough Productions. As always, I am Chris. Today is June 15th, 2024, and what a week of DC news it has been. There has been so much when it comes to Creature Commandos, a new animated series that was announced with the DCU, a brand new Black Label series, a brand new season. So much to get into for this video for this DC update. I'm gonna get into some of that news, give my thoughts and what I think we can expect to see. So let's not waste any more time. Let's go ahead and get into probably the biggest news of the week, and that is Creature Commandos. So over this week, actually still going on today, there is an animation festival going on in France called the Annecy Festival. There, they showed off Creature Commandos for DC Studios, of course. They gave some storyboards, some information about the characters, what to expect, what to see, the vibes, all that good stuff. So let's go ahead and get into the gist of it. So this is confirmed to be 2D animation. The only image we still have available to us is that image that was released last year during James Gunn's announcement video, but it's okay, guys. I hope soon we actually get more images, but this is what James Gunn had to say about the show. He said it is dark, humorous, but very, excuse me, dark, humorous, but never goofy and unsentimental adult themed show with political storylines. And it is confirmed to come out December 2024. So let's go ahead and get into a couple of things about this show. First, I want to get into the locations that were confirmed, or at least to be said to have been confirmed. Belle Reve, Frankenstein Manor, Frankenstein's Lab, and Poco Castle. These are just some of the locations that we're going to be visiting. And I think it obviously it makes sense to have a variety of areas for these characters to go because it's a team, it's a ragtag team, and we're going to be seeing them in many, many different locations. Speaking of those locations, in Creature Commandos, it's going to look exactly like the live action. So, for an example, Belle Reve, it will be an exact copy of what we saw in the Suicide Squad film, what 2021, right? Or 2020? I don't remember. One of my favorite DC EU movies ever. One of my favorite DC movies ever. Period. And this is something that actually was said, but I don't think anyone, at least the reports, no one's really talking about it. That characters like Medusa will appear in future seasons. Medusa, first of all, badass character, but I want to focus on future seasons. So that means Creature Commandos, we're going to get multiple seasons. Um, so right now, I'm just going to give my overall thoughts on what's been basically reported for this. So you're gonna have Frankenstein, Frankenstein's monster. He's gonna be love struck. Essentially, him and the bride are. He's gonna be in love with her. They had showed two storyboards at this festival. One was a fight scene between Rick Flag Sr. and Dr. Phosphorus, and the other one was GI Robot and him wanting to kill robots with Nina. And those are the two described storyboards. Really, nothing else was said in terms of like description of scenes that they shown. A couple other things, obviously, they showed off the character designs. It's a little different from the image right here that Rick Flag Sr. his hair is gonna be platinum blonde, I believe, or white, one of the two. Also, it's confirmed that Rick Flag Sr. is going to be in Peacemaker live action, and that some of these characters are going to be appearing in Superman. So, who is it going to be? I don't know, but I hope it is. Mm, Ooh, I don't know. The Weasel. I think we see Weasel live action with Superman. Oh, we already saw him live action, but seeing him with Superman, we absolutely hilarious. So, guys, my question to you is how hyped are you? What are you most looking forward to for this show? I just want to watch it now. Creature Commandos is going to be the first official DCU project, and I just can't wait for it. All right, next in our DC news is going to be Plastic Man Black Label series that was announced. What was it? I believe yesterday. Plastic Man. So I've been watching Batman Brave and the Bold consistently for the last few months, and Plastic Man is a reoccurring character in that show, and he is absolutely, besides Batman, my favorite character in that show. So this is going to be a Plastic Man No More is the title of this series. It's by Christopher Cantwell, the writer, Alex Linz, Jacob Edgar Marcelo Maiolo. Okay. So if you see these two panels on the left and the right, this is just a sneak peek of what we're going to see in the series. And we'll go ahead and get into a bit of the description of what we're going to be seeing. Essentially, it is a very unusual look at Plastic Man. He essentially is going to be dying. That's the story of Plastic Man for this black label. Um, Before I move to the next slide, I just wanted you to take a look at these two beautiful panels. Obviously, we see whenever he did heists, beautiful, beautiful artwork. And on the left, it looks very, very tragic. And I honestly, I'm already, I went to my local comic shop and I was like, okay, let me know when they're available for order so I can go ahead and get this ready. Speaking of that, Black Label, of course, is going to be 4 issues and it's going to be coming out September of 2024. So this series is going to be jumping between his own individual story, where he's going to be dealing with the issues with his power, as well as him being with the Justice League. First of all, beautiful, beautiful artwork. I love the character designs. Very, of course, classic character designs, and Plastic Man himself is a classic character. He is very has a mid-century vibe. Just look at those two panels, beautiful. This is the essentially the synopsis for this book. E.O. O'Brien might be a superhero now, but before he was anything else, he was a crook until the accident that turned him into the pliable Plastic Man. E.O. was bad to the bone. Just because he no longer has bones doesn't mean that that's still not true. When an incident on a Justice League mission leads to a catastrophic cellular damage, Plastic Man discovers he just might be out of time to make amends for the past he tried so hard to outrun, or to save the soul of his son, who, unfortunately for him, might have inherited more from dear old dad than just his superpowers. Oh my gosh. I need this. I need to read it now. September needs to come over here fast so I can read this book. This Plastic Man series, I love it. First of all, I just want to make one more. So I collect figures primarily, Marvel Legends, but primarily as well as McFarlane. McFarlane did a build a figure wave for Plastic Man, and very disappointed because I'm not a fan of. I'm a fan of a couple of those figures, but to lock Plastic Man behind $100 build a fig is very disappointing. Please, McFarlane and Todd, do something else with this. We need Plastic Man. But back to this book, I think it's just going to be absolutely killer. I can't wait for this. And a lot of people online were having a discourse about, Black Label primarily does a lot of Batman issues or Batman Black Labels, but now they're going to be focusing on some other characters like Plastic Man. Zatanna has a Black Label series coming out soon in a couple of weeks, or I think next week actually. I already ordered my books, so I I just can't wait. Plastic Man is gonna be killer. Next in our DC news update, Blue Beetle is going to be getting a DCU animated series. It is in the works. Blue Beetle is the 2023 film based off of Jaime Reyes' Blue Beetle iteration starring Jolo Managua. When I saw this news yesterday, I got so giddy because we've known that Zolo has obviously he's talked about Blue Beetle over the last year, that he said he's had conversations with James Gunn, and to see that they're going to be continuing his story and an animation is going to be bad ass. As of right now, the returning cast is just the main two characters, obviously Zoloman and Joya as Blue Beetle. It will continue the 2023 film story. Like I mentioned, they haven't really said much about what that will be. This is from Deadline. Many things are still in flux, including the contracts for the main cast. Well, of course, Zola Manajoya He reposted it on his Instagram, so there's a good chance that we're going to be getting uh, him back. If he's not coming back, then all right. And they're going to try to divert from telling the same story. Instead, the show will create its own story, which in success could potentially lead to a return for the big screen giant blue bug portrayed by Jolo Manajuela. Couple of things about the show. Miguel Puga, I think that's how you pronounce his name, please excuse me, is the showrunner. Christian Martinez is the writer, and Angel Manuel Soto and Gareth Dunnett Crosser are the producers. Uh, they are the directors of the 2023 film, so it's good to see that they're going to be coming back as executive producers. When it comes to Blue Beetle, absolutely love the movie. I actually wanted to I think I'm gonna rewatch it after I get done uploading this video because I love the character. I loved Zola Manandrea's iteration of the character, for Jaime Reyes. My one issue with the movie is that it doesn't take place in El Paso. I'm in Texas, and for it to not be placed, he lives on El Paso Street in the movie. But that's it. That's the only gripe I have, and it's just more personal because I'm a Texas guy and it doesn't take place in Texas. But whatever, that's not the point. So this Blue Beetle show, animated show, I can't wait, and I hope George Lopez comes back. Next, we have season 3 was announced for My Adventures with Superman, and season 4 is being worked on. That's all the news I really have for My Adventures with Superman. Ralph and I actually binged episode 1 of season 1 all the way up until the most recent episode, which I believe is episode 4. Yeah, 4, I believe, of season 2. Kara, she's been advertised. I'm so excited to see Supergirl in this show. And I've been obsessed with this show this last week. I hadn't seen it at all until this week, and I regret it. I actually did my review. You could check that out in the description. And My Adventures with Superman, I am just so obsessed with the show. I can't wait to see Supergirl. And I guess the reason why I'm bringing it up is because I'm in a Superman binge and I need season 3 as soon as possible. And it's funny because we're not even done with season 2. And hearing that season 4 is being worked on is just even sweeter music to my ears. The last thing I wanted to get into is this James Gunn threads post. Someone asked him, at James Gunn, for individual projects in the DCU, will it be required to watch other projects to understand others? AKA, do we have to watch 9 projects to understand a cameo in this MCU show? This person went on to ask, I feel that one of the problems with comic books movies in the past have been the amount of watching required being overwhelming for the casual viewer. For an example, would I have to watch Superman and Atlantis to understand the things in the Authority, or can stories be understood even if you haven't watched any of the either of the projects? He said, no, although they're connected in the same universe, every project should work as its own story in onto of itself. This is just wonderful news. Of course, my biggest gripe with the MCU is its homework at this point. Even though I've seen practically every project, the last couple of years I've had trouble finishing projects. I haven't finished Echo. I haven't finished Loki, and I know people love the season 2. I haven't even watched X Men '97. I haven't finished Miss Marvel. It took me forever to watch the Marvels, and it's just getting overwhelming over there. Marvel. So to hear James Gunn take this approach and say everything stands on its own, if you want, you can watch the connective tissues, but you don't have to. Of course, there are going to be connections, but to hear James Gunn say it's not mandatory, I absolutely love that. So, guys, I just want to say thanks for watching. This one is a bit of a doozy. We have Creature Commandos, Blue Beetle animated series, The Plastic Man Black Label, Superman animated series, and James Gunn just basically giving more praise to the DCU, and I can't wait. So, guys, if you're still watching, please like, share, and subscribe. It does help the channel. As always, guys, I'm Chris. I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.